All right, so welcome everyone to another deep dive. And today, we're going to be tackling something that, well, it sounds a little bit like one of those motivational posters you see at the gym. You know, those no pain, no gain kind of things?
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean.
Right.
Those super inspirational ones.
Yeah, exactly. And today we're diving into this source. It's called Sacrifice Today, Shine Tomorrow. And it really gets into this whole idea of short-term discomfort leading to long-term success. And I think this is something that so many of us we can relate to because we're all kind of facing those moments where you're at a crossroads and you're not sure if you want to take that harder path.
Yeah, it's like those moments where you kind of hesitate before taking a step forward because it just looks too daunting.
Exactly. Yeah. So today we're going to unpack this whole sacrifice today, shine tomorrow philosophy and see what we can take away from it.
So one of the things that I found really interesting about this source is how it kind of turns this whole idea of avoiding struggle on its head.
Hmm.
Like instead of shying away from these difficult situations, it actually says that the struggle itself is like the key to like unlocking these big breakthroughs.
Okay.
And one of the core concepts that it really dives into is this idea of anti-fragility.
Yeah. Anti-fragility.
Yeah.
I've heard that term before, but I'll be honest, it's always sounded a bit, kind of abstract to me.
Yeah, I get that.
Like, what does that actually mean in like practical terms?
Okay, so let's break it down this way.
Okay.
Imagine you have a fragile object, like a glass vase or something, right? If you drop it, any sort of shock or stress, it's going to shatter, it breaks.
Yeah. Yeah.
But now think about something that's the opposite, something that actually gets stronger from stress. So like our muscles, for example.
Yeah.
When we work out, when we put them under stress, what happens?
It's stronger.
Exactly. They don't break down. They actually build up and become more resilient. And that's kind of the core of anti-fragility. It's this ability to not just withstand challenges, but to actually benefit from them, like to grow and adapt in response to that stress.
Yeah. So it's almost like saying, instead of just, bearing the hardship, you're actually using it to your advantage.
Exactly.
Okay. I'm starting to see how this connects back to that whole sacrifice today, shine tomorrow idea.
Absolutely.
But how does this actually play out in our lives? What are some real life examples of this?
Okay, so think about it this way. Let's say you're working really hard trying to get a promotion at work.
Okay.
Now, that might mean you have to take on more responsibilities, maybe work some late nights, maybe even have some tough conversations with your boss or colleagues that maybe you'd rather not have, right?
Right.
But those are the sacrifices the source is talking about.
Okay.
But by actually embracing those challenges, by kind of pushing through that discomfort, you're not just, showing that you're dedicated. You're actually building up these new skills.
Mhm.
You're developing resilience, and ultimately you're becoming even more qualified for that promotion that you're working towards.
Yeah, it makes it. It's like saying, okay, yeah, this is tough, but it's making me stronger.
Yeah.
And in the end, it's going to be worth it. And speaking of embracing the tough stuff, I love how the source just comes right out and says, embrace the grind.
Yeah.
But I have to admit, when I first read that, I was like, ugh, the grind.
Yeah. Right.
That word just sounds so grindy.
I know it does have that connotation, right?
Yeah.
But I think that's where mindset comes in. It's not about like dreading the grind. It's about reframing it and seeing it as like this necessary fuel for growth. Like think about athletes who train so hard every single day. They're constantly pushing their bodies to their limits and they embrace the grind because they know that's how they reach peak performance.
Yeah. And it's funny, we hear so much about the importance of mindset.
Yeah.
But it's easy to just dismiss it as like, one of those self-help buzzwords. But when you put it in this context, it actually starts to click.
Yeah, it starts to make sense.
Like if you can actually shift your perspective and see the struggle as like a stepping stone, you're way more likely to actually embrace it and push through it.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what makes this whole idea of sacrifice so powerful. The source isn't saying, just go out and suffer for no reason. It's about making deliberate choices, about investing your time and energy now so that you can reap the rewards later.
Yeah.
And those rewards, they don't always have to be something huge and impressive. It could be something as simple as, mastering a new skill or building a healthier habit or even just developing a stronger sense of self.
I like that.
Those are all really valuable payoffs.
Yeah, they are.
And they often come from embracing that grind.
Okay, so to kind of sum up what we've talked about today, the key takeaway here is that challenges, they're not something that we should just try to avoid. They're actually opportunities for us to learn and grow. And when we choose to make those sacrifices, when we choose to kind of step outside of our comfort zone today, we're actually setting ourselves up for a much brighter and more fulfilling future.
Yeah, and I think that's a really important point. It's not about just gritting your teeth and bearing it. It's about actually understanding that struggle is often a catalyst for real transformation.
That's a great way to put it. And it makes you think about, those areas in your own life where you might be holding back a little bit, where you're hesitant to really embrace that grind and push yourself.
Right. And so as we wrap up here, I want to leave you with this question.
Yeah.
What's one area in your life right now where you've been kind of playing it safe, maybe avoiding a challenge or a difficult situation?
Mm-hmm.
What would happen if you actually leaned into that discomfort?
Hmm.
You know, what if by pushing through that struggle, you actually unlock a breakthrough that you never thought was possible?
That's something to think about for sure.
It is.
And on that note, we'll wrap up this deep dive.
Thanks for joining us.
And until next time, keep embracing that
And
grind.
shining brighter each day.
See you later.
See ya.